hopeless or the hopeless. Control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems, we the winners, coach, you know this. Never coasting, always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coach. Yeah, we winners, coach. It's all said and done.
Welcome to Home Field Advantage, brought to you by the Winners Culture, the podcast where the team discusses our takes on pop culture, local news, and our journeys to success. I'm your host, It's Just JJ, and to my right.
Hey y'all, it's Blondie.
It's Jay Duce
It's she.
Where your mic at?
right here.
Oh, he too cool. Jay Duce, he got the wireless mic for the first time. We introducing something new.
He felt away. He's instantly like, yo, why ain't you holding a mic?
And behind the camera, behind the camera, we have
Bounce, what up?
shout out to DJ Bounce, man. So for today's episode, we're gonna discuss the topic of integrity. But before we get started, how y'all feeling? Give me one win, one loss. I'll go first. It could be from you or from the culture at large. My win for the day is, or for myself, is that we just had an amazing interview with a poet named Sierra Chantel. If y'all don't know her or haven't checked out her work, please do. She's amazing at what she does, and we just had an amazing conversation. So that's my win. And my loss would be, what is my loss? My tires. I gotta get 4 new tires. Like
That is a hurt piece.
you see what I'm saying? You ever bought 4 new tires?
Yeah, I just got 4 new tires last week, bro.
You know how much they cost?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? What about y'all though? Where y'all at with it? One win, one loss.
My win would be us. You know what I'm saying? Go check out that episode 4 of Home Field Advantage. That episode is doing real well. I think it was a great time for us. And a good time to come out, good conversation. My loss would be I'm still dealing with drama at work, man. Just be
What's the update? Give us the update.
update is, you know what I'm saying? Update is I got a plan. We're gonna see how it work out. But it's seeming like they're going down that route, but we'll see how it come out.
Okay. Blondie, she.
I would say for this week in particular, my win and loss are the same thing. I left my part-time job this week, and that's a win and a loss. So,
Why you leave?
well,
Sound like she was from South Carolina, yo.
let's just say that our values did not align. So, I left.
My win this week would be Mom Dukes, man. Mother's Day was yesterday, so I'm gonna just say that. And man, she raised some kings, you know what I'm saying? My loss, I can't think of no loss this week, man.
He too heavy.
No, I'm saying like I almost killed the cat. That's the only loss.
You said you almost stole a cat?
You almost killed the
almost
cat.
killed the cat. You know what I'm
You
saying?
almost killed a cat?
He
On
was
the way
driving.
here. On the way here.
On the way here,
Yeah,
damn.
shit, I hit the tail. I ain't hit the body. But no, I can't. Honestly though, I can't really think of no loss though. To be honest,
Yo, he said he hit the tail.
All you do is win.
no, I really can't think. She looking at me.
Because what happened? Were you driving too fast?
Right, can you give us the story a little bit?
Was it a straight
Cat
cat?
ran in the street. You know what I'm saying? But I just missed it. But I hit the tail, so he made it. He made it.
Oh, you
He
heard
died.
him? You heard him know he made a sound?
I heard him.
Damn.
But he's still alive though.
Bounce. What's your win and
Cut
loss?
that out.
What's your win and loss, bro?
I hit the tail.
He talking about cut it out. I hit the tail. He's still out here.
Cat's got 9 lives, so
He got 8 more.
That is
Got
not.
8.5.
That does
I
not
didn't know what
mean.
number he was on. Cuz could have what is could
He could have been on his 8th wife, yo.
That
And
was a
now he
half.
got to run around with a bum tail like that.
More importantly, that does not mean what
a
y'all
half
think
of
it
life.
means.
Oh, elaborate. 'Cause
No, but it just does like.
you said no. That's
No.
hilarious. No, I said elaborate. You said no.
I don't want to.
Hold on, Bounce giving his win and loss. for the
I mean, it's Monday. My win. I got my hair done today. It always feels good to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
That's my small win for the day. I don't really got an L. A big win is I'm gonna take a vacation in a couple of days, take some time off. Been working kind of hard, so I'm glad to get some sun, chill out from life. So that's my win.
thorough. Okay, so for our pop culture topic of the day, I don't know if y'all know, is Teacher Appreciation Week, and being that I was a teacher for a long time. I was also a coach, but it's Teacher Appreciation Week. A topic that's hot in the feed right now is, I don't know if y'all seen the teacher that was getting his hair taken out by his female students. It was a male teacher getting his hair taken out by his female students. He's a middle school teacher, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way on the internet. And because we don't have the ins and outs, the facts, all the facts in that situation, I want us to just talk about like some experiences that we had, or with teachers or coaches, that was like positive for your life, like that made an impact on you. And how do you feel like those things would be received in today's day of the internet and things like that? You feel what I'm saying? Anybody could go.
I mean, for me, my teacher was a teacher. He was our biology and like physics teacher in high school. His name is Mr. Hill. He was like one of my first experiences with like having a black teacher growing up. Besides like real young, like I got kicked out of public school in 4th grade, so I was in Catholic school.
You said you got kicked out of public school in 4th grade?
Yeah.
What happened?
We're gonna continue. I kicked out of public school in 4th grade, and I like had all white teachers after that point until I got to high school, and he just was real down to earth, real cool. Like he was real no nonsense, but his way of getting back at that wasn't like writing you up. He would joke with the students like, yo, he had a me and your mama joke for everybody. Every time you needed, he had one, especially because of parent-teacher conferences. So like he'll say something like, I saw it, like, and it wasn't disrespectful. Like everybody had fun with it. Like at the time it was, and it was just a good way to have a teacher kind of control the room without having to end in somebody getting written up or sent to the dean or something like that. So it was real influential in my life. He was real, just down to earth. It was the first time I had that experience.
I feel like for myself, the teacher or coach, I don't know, I had a lot of really good coaches. Shout out to Coach Rules. I spent my first 2 years in high school. I went to like a white high school, and my experience at that high school wasn't good. Like I didn't like it there, mainly because I felt like it just didn't fit me. Like I was in honors classes. I spent my time in honors classes, and in the honors classes it was all white people, and it just wasn't. I felt like I didn't fit in. Coming from a school that was majority black, even though I was smart, like I understood that, but I didn't feel like I fit in the classroom. And I was an athlete, a track runner, and Coach Rose was my track coach, and like he was tough. Like I remember my first practice, like my first ever practice on the track team. Me and my man Timmy Wilson ended up going to the NFL. I ended up, being able to run track in college, being an athlete in college. So it paid off. But our first practice, he told us we had 10 minutes to like take a break, or 5 minutes, like 5 minutes to take a break. And we needed to be back within the 5 minutes. And we wasn't back in the 5 minutes. We took like 6 minutes, 7 minutes. And when we came back, he made the whole team watch us do push-ups. Like, until we couldn't do push-ups no more. So, the track team got the girls on it. That's one of the times one of the reasons why I joined the team. And we had to do push-ups till failure. So we shaking and all that. It looked crazy. And everybody was huddled up around us. Like, see, this is what happens when you don't make it on time. And it was a whole bunch of more lessons like that stuck with me. But Coach Rose definitely went above and beyond for us, like, at all times. So that's like mine, the thing that stick out to me.
I can't speak on like teachers. I never had a relationship with a teacher. that stood out to me. But as far as coaches, I had a few coaches that I had good relationships with after, like in college. I didn't have good relationship with my coach in high school either. I really think it's because of my parents. My mom was so active that a lot of people didn't like her, so that it trickled down to me. But in college is when I shout out to my coach, Coach Smitty, Coach Tony. Yeah, they two coaches that stood out to me because I felt like because with Coach Tony is more like he just related. He was a relatable coach. I went to Westchester. That's a PWI. He was like our only black coach. So I think that more played into his role because he understood me and people of our culture more. So it was easy to connect with him, and especially coming from the urban area because a lot of people on our team came from like non-urban areas. So we just was different. So he kind of like he kind of was like a father figure to a certain extent. I wouldn't say that, but that he was. It sounded crazy, but he's a father figure to a certain extent because even outside of football and sports and stuff like that, he showed that he's just a genuine person overall. That's it. I don't really have nobody. I ain't had no teacher that I had a relationship
No,
with.
that's cool. That's good.
Yeah,
Shout out
I
to
thought
your
that was
coaches.
cool. Blondie, Bounce. You don't got no relationships with no coaches or teachers. Not really like that.
No, I mean I would say like playing like Pop Warner football. I admired what I learned from my coaches like at a later age. Like I really didn't understand it then, but what they was teaching life lessons instead of football lessons. And once I got to certain situations, I could hear their voices in my head telling me like what I should do in a certain situation. So I admired that because like they was volunteering. A lot of Pop Warner coaches wasn't getting paid. They was coming out every day for us. You feel what I'm saying? So like I just took in all that I love once I got to a later age, and I really respected them for like coming out and doing that.
I feel like I think everybody get their opinion on coaches and teachers, and some of us had good experiences with coaches. Some of us didn't have no relationships with teachers and coaching. And so like, what do y'all think it would look like, in 2024? Because this particular teacher is under crazy scrutiny for the bond that he had with his students or whatever he chose to do with his students like that. What would it look like to have a healthy relationship with your teacher, with your coach? You feel what I'm saying? Because some of us had it and some of us didn't. For the people that had it, most of us know people that had it, that had a positive effect on their schooling, on their playing career. Almost all of the people I seen from my team that went on to take football or track or whatever to heights had good relationships with their coaches or with their teachers, or the people that enjoyed their educational experience had good relationships with their teachers. But what y'all think it looks like to have a good relationship with your teacher that's, you feel what I'm saying, in 2024?
I don't think you're under scrutiny for having a good relationship. I think it's more for recording. But for me, I think a good relationship starts with like making sure that there is there's an understanding, like you're still a human. Like, yo, just because I'm under you, I'm a subordinate. I'm still able to voice my opinion, still able to be a human being to you, not just be a kid in your class. Starts with a good relationship. Also, it's teachers who really, you don't have to care too much, but as long as you show a little bit of care, like have that little extra convo with somebody. Maybe if you see somebody, like for me in school, like I was working when I was in high school, so like I was tired as hell, and letting somebody take a nap in class after if they did all their work, which is what I was doing, helped me a lot at that time in life. Because you don't, if you grinded, you might not get a chance to sleep until later on. Then you gotta wake back up, go to school, do it all over again. So
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know, as a coach, as a teacher, as a person that was in that position, I just seen a lot of time, like, for whatever reason, especially in the Philadelphia public school system or Philadelphia school system, most of our teachers is white. You feel what I'm saying? And I don't think there's nothing wrong with white teachers or white educators, but like they don't connect like like how black educators or black coaches can in certain situations. And I feel like seeing like myself, all the black educators that was in the school that I worked at went above and beyond for students in a way that probably like you would never think of. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's so much that they need. They need food. They need emotional guidance. They need like guidance in general, just period. Like it's so much that they lack and that they don't get from home. And in order to, I guess another side of it too is in order to be able to tell a kid like, yo, you gotta like be quiet, like shut up, like stop talking. They also gotta respect you in a way that's they also gotta respect you in a way that's like that feels familiar, because like they not gonna just take that from anybody. And in order to build a bond like that, like you gotta build community in the classroom. You gotta build community in the educational space that I feel like most people don't like. It's hard to understand. And if I was like an administrator or a person in power, that's what I would be telling my coaches to do. I feel like coaches tell each other to do that more often. Like, you know, you got to build a relationship than what it is for teachers, where it's like you really got to build a relationship to be able to control the classroom, especially when you're trying to get kids to learn about things that they don't really care about. You feel what I'm saying? And that changes the whole perspective on what happens in the classroom and allows it to be manageable. Outside of that, it's not manageable. They calling you all type of names. They, you know, they going off on whatever they think. You feel what I'm saying?
And what's the qualifications like to be like a teacher though? Especially in Philly, like you can just be a teacher.
You said what's the qualifications to be a teacher?
Like, cause I be feeling like a lot of like, how do you be qualified? So like you just said, even if you could be a teacher or whatever, you've been a teacher before. A lot of these teachers, like you just said, don't understand. They might come, like you said, white teacher from a different place, kind of Philly, and I feel like it's deeper than just teaching somebody out of a book. You know what I'm saying? I feel like you should be qualified, or at least, I don't know the interview process, but you should know like if you feel like somebody qualified to teach in your space, because especially in Philly, because I feel like a lot of these kids probably just they spend more time in school with their teachers than they do with their parents. You know what I'm saying? They might spend, I don't know how many hours you spend in school, but I'm saying they might spend 8 hours in school, go home, be in the streets, go home, go to sleep. They probably don't have no guidance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Even though it's not really, I don't think it's a teacher's, technically a teacher's responsibility to raise your child, but at the same time, like what's the qualifications to be a teacher? Like,
so like to the qualifications point, to be honest, we need teachers so bad, if you willing to do the job, you can do the job.
Yeah, it's just clearances, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's just
if
you can pass the background check, it's like the FBI clearance, the background check. If you can pass that, you can teach.
Yeah, so I was a substitute for like maybe like 2-3 years ago. I was a substitute for like a few months, and I just had to get like 2 or 3 clearances. So I signed up. He had an agency. The guy had an agency, a teaching agency. He had a teaching agency or whatever. So he was just signing people up, like, because he needed people as far as like teachers, mentors, one-on-one stuff like that. So I just had to get like 3 clearances. I reached out to him, and I was at a school within 2 days.
Yeah. So like when it when it come to who they going, and I feel like that's another one of my points about this situation with the teacher in the classroom and all that. It's like it's going to be a lot of outrage towards the bond or not the bond, whatever the teacher did with the students. But if that's going to be the case, the same parents have to have that same feeling towards who the teacher is in the first place. You feel what I'm saying? Like, if you have that much doubt or scrutiny about who the teacher is in the first place, because the whoever the person is in a position to abuse their relationship to power. And that's in any type of thing where you're being put in front of kids. So that same type scrutiny should happen towards whoever you put in front of the kids all over. So like it's just standard commonplace that like the people that we put in front of our children are people that could be trusted at least like deeply. Like the vetting process should be deep, but that can't really happen because there's such a need for teachers, right?
I mean, it's such an undervalued. The teachers don't get like again. If it all what you're saying makes sense for something that should be in society, but teachers don't really get a chance to really reap the benefits of what they do. Like I think they're a key part of our society, how our children are raised, and they get paid kind of the lowest. Like again, a lot of these costs ain't going to our teachers, and it shows. Like you got to be able to. I think for what you're talking about, it needs to be like again that kind of with degrees and different things, which ups the criteria, which will up the pay, and which it needs to be to have that kind of world. But like you said, we in desperate need because it's a field that the fulfillment really, what you get paid in is love and admiration for doing what you're doing, changing the world.
That's real rap. What you get paid in is love and admiration to be a teacher. And so it's like, and with love and admiration, you got to feel like figure out how to make a classroom work. It's not like you getting a whole bunch of support from here or from there. And so it's like, if we gonna hold this standard for teachers that you got to be a certain thing, then the same type of standard has to be held for the parents that's putting their students in these places and the administration that's allowing whatever to occur in their school. You feel what I'm saying? Because a lot of the time, the outrage is so selective that, like, this been going on. You feel what I'm saying? Why didn't some AP or some assistant principal or some principal or some dean been, flag the situation because it's inappropriate? Why would it take the internet for it to do so? You feel what I'm saying? But yeah, go ahead.
I got a question pertaining to that. So, like, majority of us work or have worked in 9 to 5 settings and are content creators. So before y'all put out content, do y'all think to yourself, will this get me fired? Is that a priority for y'all?
I mean, I think about it, yeah. But for me, it's kind of like, man, I'm ready to fucking go. I feel like this is my lane. This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm great at it. I built myself into it. I paid into it. So the 9 to 5 is just helping fund what I do. But whenever that ends, for me, that's the end of the rope. But also in that, I kind of think also, but this being kids, like my child was in school for a short amount of time and we strictly did not want my child posting on social media. And that's where we got into the beef with the school because they would still be posted like your kid's in the background of this. And it's kind of to promote the school in a sales kind of way. And my kid, I didn't want my kid a part of that. So it kind of is definitely a heavy, like you got to weigh what you put online. I think when it comes to children, rule of thumb is like whatever you don't post that. Like they can't. There is no benefit to me in that. It needs to be if your content is you, let it be you. Don't pull on that heartstring to gather some support. But also I do understand why you do it though, because like I said, the funds ain't there. So I got to make a way for my students to at least some of these teachers, like we were speaking to earlier, feeding their students. Some of them is clothing their students, putting money in their pocket, whatever it may be to help them get through their day. So like, it's definitely a tight walk that I don't wish to walk. So I mean, I just go. My goal will be don't post nothing. That's what I was saying. That content yourself, your personalities will get you to where you are, not anything else.
I'll go real quick. I feel like if your content matches who you are as a person, then it will match whatever you got going on. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like if I'm a teacher, but who I am as a person don't match that type of level of being a role model or that type of level of responsibility, truth is, I probably shouldn't be a teacher. You feel what I'm saying? I'm just a teacher because of whatever. Really, I should be doing something else that is more, if I know that's the standard. Because it's like, you're not being yourself. You being a fake version and the kids can feel that. You feel what I'm saying?
But if you teach like elementary school, like you got to be a certain way in front of a third grader that you might not be in front of your 30-year-old colleagues, friends, whatever on the internet. That don't seem like you being fake. No, you're being like a professional.
So Okay, so we have Miss Amani here. Miss Amani is a 12th grade history teacher. So what's your opinion on the topic? I'm sure you've seen the video, the viral video and things like that, but I'm also sure that you have a certain way that you conduct things in your classroom. How do you make your classroom work for you?
For real, you got to make the kids trust you, like despite the circumstances, not because of them. So I teach, and this is where my content, like how you present online versus do you want your job moment comes in, because I have written in the past about conditions at my school while still being employed at my school that probably could potentially maybe put me in jeopardy at my school, but basically said whatever. So this is one of those moments too. But my school is not great for the kids that go there. And the way that I build trust with the kids first and foremost is by making sure that they understand that I'm for them regardless of whether the school is for me or for them. So like sometimes we be allies against the school. And like that's how we build trust for real. It's like, you think that's effed up? I think it's effed up too. And because of that, I will feed you. I'm very much that teacher who feeds my kids and has bought clothes for my kids and gives. I just sent some of my former students money for his birthday today. Like very much so that teacher. And I do think that is where trust gets built, because there is no trust in the actual education system. So you got to build trust the same way you build trust with friends, right? Like with friends, you show up for them when they call you, and that's how your friend knows that you a real one. Or when someone falls on hard times, you give them, like, you know what I mean? Like that's how you build trust in the real world. That's how you build trust with students too. I think the idea that students just trust you is very, very pre-COVID, very pre-internet, very our parents' mindsets for us, and it just don't work like that anymore. So yeah, as a teacher, you got to go, especially with kids that don't experience love readily in school or outside of school. A lot of times school is the place where they experience the most love on a daily basis. And so you take on like a different role and responsibility if that's the way you see your job, as making the kids trust you, not just teaching them something.
All right, so last question, then we're going to move on. I feel like, in the whole situation, what really comes out to me is like a different view of what an ideal teacher should be, or like what an educator that you would place in front of your kids should be. So what is y'all, like, what do you envision as an ideal teacher that you would, you got kids, Jay, you got kids, like what is the ideal teacher that you would feel comfortable, sending your child to?
I mean, that's a heavy question for me because I don't feel comfortable. Like it's something I don't like. It's to me is nobody take care of you like you. So if you can afford your lifestyle to be like me and my partner have worked hard to be able to be in our kid life as much as possible. So when it comes to the part of education, I think you can do the things to be certified to be through the state so that they get accredited for what they do with you. But in their learning, it's more exact and more precise. So my perfect teacher is us as parents. But if you meant someone outside of us, like again, in my mind, to me, it's more like I'm bringing in tutors. And it's somebody who just is there to really help the child understand what it is. And just this one, like for me, it's all about focus and adaptation. Like when, again, the biggest thing that happened to teachers in our school district, they started shoving them in the classrooms. Like, I don't know if y'all remember when we was in school, class wasn't super packed, but as we continue, I'm pretty sure y'all can attest your classrooms and got pretty packed. And it's hard. It's like, what, 1 to 20 kids? Like one teacher to 20 kids? So you can't really individualize the lesson plan, and some kids get left behind in that. So for me, the ideal teacher is kind of more like a tutor where like, for school is made for people who have made certain decisions to where your life is more of you have to work so you can't be there for your kid. But for those who can work their life in a way that you can be there for your kid, that to me, that's the best thing they're gonna learn. You gonna give them the most patience, time, understanding. You gonna work with them. Like again, it's a big joke going around where we as parents don't understand our kids' homework, but that's nothing but you sitting there. You can go to these jobs every day and pick up anything they tell you to do. I know people who've been working jobs for 60 years and they'll change the whole system like that and they'll figure it out. So it's just like you gotta figure out how it is the best for your kid to understand his curriculum, but it just takes time and patience. And I think only parents got that.
So do you believe that you could teach your kid better than any teacher or coach your kid better than any coach?
Facts. I think parents show that every day. If you want to talk about like when it comes to Doc Rivers, like how many student athletes and parent athletes. Like, again, look at Bronny. I mean, people criticize his game, but that's taking it on a small scale after the man had a heart attack on the court. Like, people underrate that of his career, and he still was able to put up numbers in a bad system. But his talent comes from his dad being able to, both of them kids, because if you think Bronny's son, wait till the other one get in the league. He's a problem right now. And that comes from being able to, his dad being there and able to guide them in a way a coach couldn't. And for coaches that do well, it ends up, like y'all said, like a father figure.
I ain't gonna lie though. You just talked about Bronny James, and his dad is the best basketball player in the world. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, of course, he's the best coach in this situation. I feel like when it comes to teaching and coaching, one of the reasons why teaching and coaching probably is an undervalued thing is because, like, a lot of people think that, like, they are better teachers than teachers, or they are better coaches than coaches, or people who aren't teachers that are good feel like I can do that. Like, I can stand in front of a class, and it doesn't matter what the class looks like. It doesn't matter if it's a class full of whoever. I can stand up there and be a teacher, or I could coach them because I just believe that I can. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I'm speaking more from the parent aspect of it, that no, I don't believe I could do what you do, but I believe I can do it for my kid, my child.
That's every parent, yeah.
Like, it's that way. Like, even like if you want to bring a sports analogy, like, for those kids I know whose parents were at every practice, they got that extra time in. After we was done practice, they might come pull their kids to the side. All right, let's work on this, because I saw this, that you need this extra help. I saw this is where you were lacking, because the coach is looking at his whole team. He got to come up with a plan. He got a game Friday. So it's a little different than a parent who, you are my main focus.
So if it was if you had a chance to send your kid to get coached by LeBron for basketball, or you could coach him for basketball, what you gonna do?
We both going. But if it's me sending my kid without me to Bron, never.
Word.
Never.
He just told you, though, it's more like a tutor. Like, with him, he focused on his child. You got a coach or a teacher. You got, like you said, you got 20 students, 40 students, however. Coach, you got, especially football, it's like, how many? 90 players, bro. It's like, so you can't, it's 52 on the roster, but 90. So it's like, you can't really.
So you feel the same way?
Yeah, of course. Why not?
So
for your child?
I send my young boy to Brian.
I'm sending.
Because there's some stuff I can't.
No, so I ain't talking about Brian individually, bro.
No, I'm just saying that.
But I'm saying, like, when it comes to like
You talking about LeBron James, bro. You talk about coach.
Or you talking about Nick Saban, or you talking about
No, bro. I'm not no.
But in every situation you name, I think of these names, then I think of these college players who I've seen and we know also who that football was a short experience of your life, whatever it may be, depending on it. It's the outside part.
And why you think a lot of these people, bro, people go to Alabama under Nick Saban and they transfer? Yeah. Why you think that is? He a great coach, but you know, everybody don't fit in every system. But I'm not talking about LeBron James and Nick Saban. I'm talking about overall. We talking about coaches and
that's the agreement with LeBron. Like, again, it's time and effort. Like, if LeBron's dedicating his whole life to your kid, then that's different. But he's dedicated to his craft,
that's
himself, his family, what he does, his businesses.
Because, look, even if you see your son of LeBron, if he don't get the job done, what LeBron going to do, man? We on to the next. You're not going to do that to your own child, bro.
Like, you did
a camp?
Like, I did a lot of camps.
So, like, it was different camps around you went to. And if you went to those camps, you knew the kids who had it had a different attention level than the kids who didn't. They send 60 kids over here, 10 kids over here. They don't even. That's a. You fact. You might be better than them 10 kids, but they just know. They be knowing what's going. They know who they want to look at, so they don't even matter. LeBron's son right there, yo.
Yeah, LeBron's son going with the 10, regardless, bro. Like, but it's like your son can outwork him, might be better than him, but it's like, who is this? Like, it's just It's different. But
so she, for you don't got like an ideal teacher for your son, or like an ideal coach, like what that would look like, or do you feel like it's yourself too?
I don't think so. So of course I'm gonna think I'm the best teacher for my son because I know how I want him to be raised in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So of course I'm gonna think I'm his best teacher. But as far as going back to what you said, would I rather coach my son or LeBron? Like that's crazy. Like I don't know. No, I ain't that dumb, but I know, like he just said, I know, like, even if
you ain't that dumb though, like
I can't, like, I know LeBron is way more intelligent to me on the level with his sport, but I know, like, with my son, right, like he just said, LeBron trying to coach a team, I I'm trying to coach my son. You know what I'm saying? So like I know, like you just said, LeBron might be coming up with a game plan or whatever for the team. So he ain't really got time to actually, focus in on just one individual player. But with me,
Hey, you ever look at the
I don't really care about everybody else, bro.
Where they'll show you Jason Tatum at LeBron's camp coming up.
Yeah.
You see Jason Tatum, but then there's other kids in the photo.
Yeah.
And you might know 2 or 3 of those other faces, but those other kids have lives and meanings too, but you don't know because their life didn't go on to the NBA. That's what I like. Again, I would never want my kid to fall to the wayside. And in an aspect of me sending my kid to the best basketball player in the world, I think it's gonna be, if he don't have it immediately, I think it's gonna be a time when it becomes like, yo, you might gotta sit in his back.
So
from that though,
So,
like, what
it's
you-
not the only successful route though. Like,
Right.
it's players that go overseas. It's players that play in leagues over here. It's players that go. If you go to college for free, that's successful in my book. So it's like there's other routes than just extraordinary going to.
And the other part about coaching or teaching is that when you go to a coach, you go to a teacher that is resource, you get access to whatever they have access to. You feel what I'm saying? If you homeschool, if your seed is insulated to whatever you have access to, that's where it stops at. But if you go to a school or if you go to a team where, for sure, like for absolute certain, I don't get my college scholarship if I don't go to West Catholic. I don't care how good my dad is at doing what he is. And my dad was a great dad, great coach, always there. I don't get nothing if I don't go to West Catholic to get under coaches that know people. You feel what I'm saying?
What made you go to West Catholic though? What made you even go there?
What
Was
made
that
me-
a decision you made, or like your dad?
It was a it was a decision I made. It was a decision I made, just straight like that. But
Your
Blade,
dad supported you,
yeah,
where he originally sent you somewhere else.
yeah.
So that was you understanding what was best for you. And again, for me, this is all we talking hypothetical. This is as my kid grows in this conversation. If he like, Dad, I'm going to fucking play with LeBron James, I'm not going to be like, no. But in this conversation, my goal would be always to be there for my child. Like I think about I don't want to go to the ugliest parts of society, but in things we hear in these documentaries, you hear about where people try and keep their kids away from their parents. And I think that's a key factor. And for me, in my experiences in life, my goal is to be there as much as I can and much as he will allow.
It sounds also like it might be that like an ideal quality in a teacher for y'all is like someone who sees your child as an individual and is invested in their individual success. Which is not to say that you are not still their best teacher, but like the quality that you're honing in on is like you see my child as an individual, you value and honor their individual path. And I feel like that's a valid quality in a teacher, because there's definitely the teacher that's like, I'm teaching these 30 kids and we're getting through the curriculum and my test scores are the measure of success. And then there's a teacher that's like, I see each of my 30 kids as a person, and you are a poet, and you are a mathematician, and you are a quiet kid who's still figuring it out, and you are, right? Like, and that seems like the quality that like would fit your like ideal teacher.
No, yeah, agree. For me, that's why I said a tutor. Like for me, as an ideal teacher for my kid, it knows when to tag in help. Like, yo, this isn't my best subject. Like I said, for me, everybody know English ain't my shit. So again, if my partner lacks in that department too, we'll be tapping in somebody else to come and help. But it is also shaping that around him to make sure it's not just you going into a facility where your day-to-day is kind of like you said, like you determine what you was going to do. As me as a kid in school, at a certain point, what I wanted to do is what I did. Like, no way, it's ways around it. You figure out things if your kid is smart, or I think as all of us, we are naturally mischievous sometimes. Like, you can figure out your way around the system to where's that one-on-one help, to where somebody's allowing you to learn how you want to learn. Like, yo, it could be as simple as your kid wanting to read in the grass, and that could change his whole life. And him always looking out the window, never getting a chance to read in the class because he's been in this classroom this whole time. Nobody asks, yo, what will be here? It just, hey, this is how we score metrics, and you didn't do well in this classroom, but you just need to take your test on the grass.
So ultimately, like your idea of what education looks like for the black culture, for black community is like homeschooling, like everybody.
1,000%. I think if that's awarded to us in a way that where you can live your life, because like I said, a lot of schools are really made for you to be able to go to work for your kids at school. Before, like again, in these things in our country, there was a time before there was standardized schooling. You sat at home on the farm, and you farmed, you tended to your land, your parents taught you, and you lived your life, and your goals would be attached to whatever that would be. So I'm just saying, in that, for me, I think, especially in this country, this curriculum isn't based for a black kid. Like, it's a lot of stuff for me I had to unlearn as an adult.
Y'all feel the same way?
like Christopher Columbus discovered America, like further earlier.
Unlearn? Nah, I ain't had to unlearn that.
No, I mean, like, do you
I
think
wasn't paying
that your
attention.
ideal like education, like for your kid, for the black community is homeschooling, like everybody
Or
homeschooling?
black school, like again, if there's a school developed for us by us,
Yeah, I just feel like
that might change my mind. Like the Umar shit is definitely appealing, but I definitely got to walk the halls and see what it's about.
I agree with that.
In utopia society, yeah, I think things can be, but I'm talking about the world today.
In real world in 2024 and what we living in,
I'm trying to start my own school eventually, y'all. So it'll be like a small little community school with teachers that's from like, you know, like I feel like that's actually the ideal. And I went to an elementary school that was like that. It was like the principal was this Jamaican woman who immigrated here, in my neighborhood in Queens is very Caribbean heavy. And so she became a teacher in Queens public schools and was like, this is trash. Like, y'all are doing these kids so dirty. And where I'm from, this is not the standard. And so she was like, F it, I'm gonna do my own thing. So she did do her own thing and started her own school. And it's been running for, I don't even know how many decades at this point. Like generations of kids ran through there and it was very small. All the teachers were like black men and women who came from all the different islands and lived in the neighborhood. And like parents gave the teachers permission to like treat them how I would treat them as a parent because we trust each other. And that's like my like ideal dream idea of what a school is supposed to be. Cause I feel like all these issues of like trust, back to the video with the teacher and the hair braiding. If you, like what you were saying, if you trust the teachers that's in front of your kids, that's not a thing, right? If you trust like the principal that's in charge of the school, the question of curriculum and all that is not a thing. If your kids trust the teacher, whatever, then like the behavioral management, everything becomes less of a thing. It's a lot of like, these are strangers in your neighborhood trying to teach you something that you don't trust. And so now there's all these behavioral issues. I feel like a school that's of the community and the people that's from it and is like it's family and community more than I don't know what is currently happening is the ideal for me. The question is, what did you learn from those experiences? Because I know that you hold very highly the lessons that you learn from those type of coaches that other people don't learn in other circumstances, right? If no one is ever hard on you, then you never learn XYZ. And I think that you did learn something from those people, but I'm questioning whether or not it's the violence and the aggressiveness that taught you those lessons, or if it was the structure and the directness. And maybe the violence and the aggressiveness taught you something else about how to be as a man that you have actually spent many years trying to unlearn as a person. So it's the question is like, what did you learn from the violence? Not from the structure, not from the directness, but from the violence specifically. Is that a positive takeaway, or did the positive takeaway come from a whole other part of how they was teaching you?
So like I think first of all, I don't know. I feel like life itself is not soft. Like life is not, my experience of life hasn't been nothing for the weak. And so like every time that it was a situation where it was like I got hit in a situation or like violence in a situation, whether it be like playing football and like the literal consequence of doing something wrong or just playing the game itself resulted in physical pain or like physical pain because of you know, some person, some coach, somebody who inflicted physical pain on me for doing the wrong thing, it never felt as bad as the feeling of losing. It never felt as bad as the feeling of like of being unprepared or feeling like life was overwhelming. And I definitely feel like stronger I felt stronger in all those times because it's like I know what pain feel like.
I feel like because you didn't grow up in a cycle of abuse, you can look at those actions as constructive to your life, where an authority figure in your life was not beating you and abusing you and disguising it as love. You know what I mean? Like it was actual discipline. So I feel like that's a fine line that people teeter. You never know who's growing up in abuse where it's disguised as love. So it's easy for you to say that and stand in it so proudly because that was true for your situation. But a vast majority of us as black people are growing up in abusive households where authority figures are abusing us and disguising it as love. I beat you because I love you. I chastise you because I love you. I do this because I love you. And then you go to another setting and it's that same coach or person that grew up in that same cycle of abuse and they're repeating it. And it's not right.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that 1,000%. And I think, and I can clearly see how, like, I don't know about y'all, but like, I grew up getting beat. Like, I grew up, like, my parents beat me. You feel what I'm
You
saying?
felt it was beneficial. Like you felt like that you couldn't learn that same message through them talking to you.
No, I don't think there's, to me in life, there's no teacher like pain. Like there's nothing that feels like what it feels like when the consequence for the action is pain. And like,
That's not
that all
true.
depends,
Because
though.
joy is a teacher too. Every emotion is a teacher.
I think, like,
it all depends on how you
you
look at
talking-
it.
I get it, yeah. But I agree. I agree with both of y'all. I agree with him more like on a scale of like I'm literally not the same person I was 10 years ago, and it's all actually it is all because of pain, but not abuse. Not it's like emotional pain, certain discipline stuff like that shaped me into who I am today, which I do think everybody should go through.
Like, you can't-
talking about
you-
as a result of time. Your
Yeah.
teacher, your coach had to teach you something in a finite amount of time.
I'm talking about from my
Exactly.
parents,
So
my coaches, my
when you
teachers.
come to time, you have to again. But like you said, that is the best. That is a quick teacher, not the best of them. I think communication, understanding is the best teacher. I had to learn so much later in life that I could have learned earlier, but instead for my action, there was like you said, there was a being attached to the end of it, where that didn't do anything but tell me not to do that thing, not why. There is no communication. I think a lot of what we talk about results in time. Like you said, growing up in a system of abuse because your parents had to get to work. So I don't have time to sit here and communicate to you why you can't be out till 3 in the morning. No, come get this ass whooping, and then you're not gonna do it again because you felt pain. But again, for some kids like me, that just was a result of, all right, I'm just out of here. Like again, for me, it was as a kid. If I like where I was at, I'm fucking out. So and that is a result of somebody choosing to learn in that quick capacity, which is
And I also
a result of
think
circumstances.
it depends on because everybody's different, right? Everybody learns different. Everybody learns different. Everybody hears different. Everybody sees different. So like in your situation, right? You're thinking like you said it didn't work, right? Basically, they beat you. You said you out. My shit was the opposite. Man, you could talk to me for 8 hours. I wasn't hearing that shit. But we just different. Like when it got a little physical, or even got to get physical.
Today to teach you something. It don't gotta get physical, right?
Today at this age now, yeah.
It gotta get physical.
At my age now, no.
That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
talking about
At your
back when I
age
was a
now,
kid.
But even back when you was a kid, you're developed from that same point. I'm saying somebody took the time to understand you, and however you understand you today, then they don't have to resort to violence to understand how you want to be taught. I involved you in your process.
I get
A
what you're
lot of
saying.
times the kid is not involved in it. No kid goes, let me beat. Only time to get beat was to go outside to play faster. That didn't teach you shit. It just was like, all right, let me get this whooping so I get outside with my friends.
now I think one key point of what you're saying though is the level of the coach, the level of the person that's doing the beating, because all of it, like my parents was very skilled teachers. You feel what I'm saying? Like in the ways of life that they was teachers. Like they wasn't like, I don't feel like they was arrogant enough to say that like I knew everything, but like, and what I was trying to teach and what they were trying to teach, they was good at it. And them coaches, they was really good, like really, 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 really good at getting people to the next level. You feel what I'm saying? And in high school, you don't get a lot of chances. You feel what I'm saying? Like you mess up now, you don't get a second chance. You don't go. And so it's like in a little bit of time, you need to get this lesson. And so it's like, if you endure now, and that's part of the point, that's part of the lesson.
And again, that's a result of lifestyle and choices. If you have time, then you don't have to get it in that finite amount of time.
As black people, do we have time?
The thing is to get to, again, for me, I speak in things to better myself and my community. I'm not going to always speak on what we used to do, but as for us in this room, we have time to do what we're doing right now. So I got time to be with my kid and take the time to teach him things right, step by step. And hey, we don't get this stuff, we're going to work on it together and then move forward from there. Not a situation of where I have to get you ready for life so fast, so quick that you don't get to enjoy being a kid. Because as a kid who didn't get a joy to be a kid, that shit takes and holds on to you. So why would I want my kid to go through that? Because again, all you talking about is speeding up a process. Yo, you gotta be at the next level. Yo, you might have been better than some adults when you was in 10th grade because of your coaching your things, but that is because you were working harder than a lot of adults. You went to school, you went to practice. Your time for you is pretty much wrapped up into that, and that becomes a part of your person in your society when you might have had, again, as somebody who was a great writer, poet, rapper, you have other things that could have definitely been enhanced and talked through if somebody had the time to talk to you.
So
And you know what's funny? Will is in the background of this, but I think about a quote from that interview where he was talking about like when someone's running really fast, you don't know if they're running from something or if they're running towards something. And I definitely think that mentality a lot of times is running from something of like, I refuse to be a product of my environment. And so my parents kept me running without realizing that like there's things that you're not even seeing to your right and to your left because you're running so fast away from something. And that it saves you from a certain outcome, but it also doesn't allow you, like you're saying, to like live in the moment or have a childhood in a fuller way, be allowed to make mistakes the way that other kids are allowed to make mistakes and have a childhood.
all right. So all in all, y'all don't believe as like pain as a form of discipline or as a form of like
Never.
Not
My
by
favorite
itself.
teacher was one conversation. My mom told me when I was 12 why I couldn't get Jordans. And it was based on this bill, this thing, this guy get paid. I'm robbing this to pay this. I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah,
And
worked
that
though.
moment in my life, it didn't work. It turned me up. It made me want to get money because my
But it
mom's
influenced
struggling.
you though.
In a
It
sense,
influenced you to be.
influencing me to do things to get anything I had to get money at that
Because
time.
pain,
that
not,
a good
like
lesson?
pain is not always getting
No,
smacked
for
in
me,
your
I'm saying that was
smack.
the most unfortunate lesson for me as a kid, and it made me be the hard worker I am today, and that was unfortunate because I stopped being a kid at that moment. That was my biggest lesson was, hey, childhood ended at this conversation. And I think a lot of what we're talking about for you and athletes, some childhood ends at this conversation. Some of y'all might be 6 and they might be like, yo, this what you want to do the rest of your life? You 6 years old. You say, yeah, they say it's a wrap. We up Pop Warner to there, to AAU, to here, to boom. Your whole life is to get to this point on that podium. And a lot of these kids we've seen in every sport, every facet that celebrates black athletes, after they get done with that sport, the world throws them to the wayside. Some niggas be broke, don't have anything to stand on. People, family be robbing, stealing from them. Some people, like, when you look at even Mike Vick's situation, your own family won't even, you might put everything and everybody in position. They still might be like, no, you got to deal with that yourself, even though you helped us out. It's different shit going on. I just feel like we got to move past what we used to do and take all that slavery shit out of there. Don't beat my kid ever.
I don't think that pain only come in the form of getting beat though. That's why I agree with it. Like pain come in different forms. Like I told y'all when I was in college, when I got cut, that shit was pain, but that shit turned me up in the fact that it made me do a lot of stuff that it made me see stuff in a different light. Like, damn, he really, it's true though. Like he telling me the truth. It's painful though. I'm crying, but what he telling me is the truth. So it helped me grow. It helped me know what I need to do to be a better, not even athlete, just a better man. Period.
Like that was
a
great
better person.
conversation.
I
It
feel like
was,
a way
but
to
it
look
was
at
painful
it.
to me in that moment. Right, I cried for 2 days.
So you
Emotional
were
pain, though,
you
not-
were like grieving it. I feel like another way, because pain is just one attribute to grief, and grief has 7 stages. And when you have an idea for yourself and in life, whether it be athletic, academic, emotional, anything, when that does not come to fruition, you grieve that loss.
Yeah.
So you go through the motions of that pain, denial, joy. Like, what I can't quote the 7 stages of grief off top, but you go through that with every situation. So it's like grief after grief after grief after grief. For every individual situation that hurts you, there is a series of grief that follows, whether we realize it or not.
That's
I
what
read
it
a
was
book
for
once.
sure. Cause
Oh, go ahead.
I wasn't saying nothing.
I was gonna say I read a book, shout out to JJ, that was like all about emotions. And one of the points that she makes is that like pain or trauma is like a ritual, and rituals have steps to them too. And on the other end of a ritual, you come out as a new person, right? Like you get scarred and then people celebrate it. And then
that all about love?
emerge.
By bell hooks?
Yes. And you emerge out the pain as a new person, and that we don't do a good job of honoring the ritualistic nature of pain in our society, so that we get stunted at some point in the ritual before we ever actually like emerge into the new person that we're supposed to be. But that fits this whole conversation that like pain is supposed to turn you into a new person, but pain is not always just a physical thing. It's also like encountering emotional pain and having to like suffer through all the 7 stages of the thing. And then when you come out on the other side, you are a different person. And that's what makes us who we are. So I agree that pain is a great teacher, but it's not pain by itself, because pain is literally just the first step in the ritual of the whole thing. It's a lot of stuff that has to happen after the pain, right? How many kids did we teach at a school together that went through mad pain and learned nothing? Stuck at that first step, inflicting pain on themselves and everyone else because they stuck at that first step. So yeah, pain is a good teacher, but it comes with a whole lot of other stuff after that.
And it's a step that can step you into that other place. Like for me, pain can cause depression. In a sense, I know
Right.
a lot of
You
athletes
get
who got
stuck.
hurt. And
get stuck.
that rely on substances to get through the pain of it, even not just the physical, it becomes emotional, it becomes mental, it becomes more than what you can withstand. So like as somebody who was depressed in college, hell, from going through pain and not having nobody to talk to, because again, as a kid, since I was 12, I've been getting it on my own, so you gotta figure this out on your own. When at the time, might have been a time to be like, yo, you might wanna take a second, you just lost your grandmother. You don't know what you're doing. You just here, up at school, and I was having a fucking ball, but that was all because suppressing pain. To get through the day, we was turning up so much.
Yeah, I think I probably would change my perspective a little bit to say that like pain isn't like I can clearly see how to me pain was the teacher. You feel what I'm saying? Like because that was the biggest sticking moment. But now I can see that all of those coaches and my parents and all those people understood how to utilize the pain to go through the stages. You feel what I'm saying? Like this is part of the thing. And then there's this part of the thing and this part of the thing and that part of the thing that's after that part. And I think cause I can't lie, like all of them coaches broke me down. My parent broke me down in the worst of ways. You feel what I'm saying? Like where I felt like I don't know, like I didn't feel like anything. I just felt like I wasn't nothing. And then it was a cycle building me. Yeah.
Never mind.
No, go ahead.
Nah, I was just talking. Yeah, you know I'm about to go. But
Go ahead.
as a teenager though, you know, like you already like struggling kind of like you just starting to become who you really are. I feel like, you know what I'm saying. So like we was talking about as far as the coach we had that used to discipline us in a certain way, right? And he might be breaking you down. And it's hard for you already, like, you know what I'm saying? That but at that age, it's already hard for you though, like told you I'm gonna start popping my head in they Jones. But yeah, it's already hard for you. At that age you kinda discover who you are. Most people, not everybody, but you kinda discover who you are. So like it do be hard, like for an adult to tell you when they kind of telling you who you are, you kind of believe that shit, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not, like I said, I'm not the person I was in high school, but like in high school when them coaches they used to talk to me like that, I really thought that's who I was, you know what I'm saying? I really thought that's who I was. And I used to struggle like to even communicate with them because I didn't feel like we was on the same level. That go back to the teaching thing, like making your kids comfortable. You got to set boundaries, but you make them comfortable enough to be able to express themselves, know who they are. That's why I never had a relationship with a teacher or a coach until college, because I never was comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I used to feel ways and I would never say nothing. I hold it in, or certain stuff made me feel away. But like I said, I ain't never forget it. I still ain't forget it. But at that time, I just wasn't comfortable to express myself. You know, because you don't really know who you. I didn't know who I was. I'm gonna say, because some people probably did, but at that.
And I was gonna say that I think that's the main point on which the pain point I disagree with you, or like it diverges from you, is because that part, the building up part, is harder than the breaking down part. Any cruel, mean person with a spirit for winning can break you down. It takes a whole different spirit to build you back up after that, to like see someone in there. Like it's harder, period. It's harder. And so to only say that pain is the part that builds someone up, enables cruel, mean people to be cruel and mean and say that they're doing something good, when in fact, if you had felt heard, understood, seen by some of those same people, like maybe that process would have started sooner for you. But that part is harder for a person who is like cold and hard on the outside to actually understand how to communicate with a young man, how to communicate with a boy who's not frequently understood. So like pain by itself is not enough. And I feel like we've had many conversations about this. That's my main point, is like the empathy part, is harder to me than it is to be mean and to break someone down. because you gotta reach into the depths of yourself and like confront your own fears in order to like bring the vulnerability out of someone else.
And I can clearly see now, like, even just through this conversation, like, how as men, and especially those men who had helped me get to this point or get to those points, how pain was the point that we all harped on. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because it was the thing that you felt the deepest. Like, I can remember them times where I felt crushed. I felt like I was in shambles, or I can remember the time that I got punched in the chest, or the time that, you know, somebody yelled at me clearer than I can remember everything else.
Did it help build some type of character in you think?
I feel like,
Or help you deal with?
I feel like seeing it now, that was just a part.
You never saw it. Sorry to cut you off, but if you never saw it, right? If you saw it for the first time today, right? How would you think you'd react the same way that you would react now, since you already saw it? You know what I'm trying to say?
If I saw what happened to me happen to somebody else for the first time today,
You never went through it.
but I never went.
You never saw it and went
And
through
I
it.
never saw it,
today.
but
For
I
the first
react the same
time you
way.
see a kid get punched in the chest, how would you react? You think you'll react the same way as now that you've been through and you see it?
I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't. I know I wouldn't, so much so because I knew that I felt like when it was happening to me, it was brutal. You feel what I'm saying? Like, this is not like regular. This is like something deeper. But I also knew that, like, these people are the people that get you to the next level, that have those keys. So if this is a part of that, then
You know
it's
what
like,
I think though?
go ahead.
I think the only reason you really think stuff like that regular is because you had, like, if you was going through other people, like if you was at home and it was just happening to you, you would probably feel like,
I would feel like it's trauma, but because it was a
but
team.
now you see everybody else going through it, you feel like it's cool. I think
It's like
that's-
that pledge mentality, like that Greek life hazing pledge mentality.
I think I can see that now, and I think even like when it,
So you were brainwashed. You agreed it. You were brainwashed. Oh, no shade, no shade. I'm in the most extreme cases. In the most extreme cases.
no, I mean, like,
Every sector is different.
what I feel like,
'Cause what you saying is true. Like, I only said that because it's really true. If you feel like you going through it with other people, it make it seem more ordinary. But like if you just at home,
yeah, if it was an isolated
happening at
situation,
home, like you ain't
and
turn
I
the
just
TV
watched
off,
that
he
on the
punch you in
internet,
your
I
chest.
would be like, yo,
you know what I'm saying, you go through you might see something on your phone, he punching you, you be like, oh, he abusing me. Like, but just because you see 20 other people going through it, it's like, ah, we cool, we doing this.
But now,
And-
as we are adults, we see those 20 other people going through it, and them kids have issues and trauma, things they want to talk about. If you want to talk about certain things that happen at Penn State and these different universities, to where these people you entrusted to take care of your kids was abusing them in different ways. And your kid can never express it because of that pain factor, because of things you talked about, it where it was nobody I felt like I could talk to. Because everywhere you turn, it's a way of somebody just trying to build you up into the image they have of you, not the image you have of yourself.
I can see in those situations how, and I think this goes back to our point about the people that you put in front of your kids and like all of that, because like I said, I can see how that type of power, the type of power that a coach or anybody in authority, especially over a teacher, like, can get twisted in the most heinous of ways. You feel what I'm saying? And so it's so important to filter who those people are, like not just from administration. That should be a parent. That should be a parental. Like I said, to your point, like, did I walk through the school? Do I know, like, you feel what I'm saying? Like when it's parent teacher conferences and only 5 parents show up, like they're doing, or as parents or as a community, we're doing a disservice to the kids by not properly vetting the teachers to understand that those like there's nothing you can do that can stop the bond that's going to get created, because they're there so long, so often. And if it's a coach, there's nothing you can do to stop the bond that's getting created, because there is a specific goal that you're going through with other people. You feel what I'm saying? So it doesn't feel isolated. It feels like this is just what we do. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like you got to really have trust in the person that's being that person. And to the other part of that, like I said, the pain part, or what I can see now as opposed to then, or the group mentality, the group think that could lead to really kind of tolerating abuse or thinking that the abuse,
Making it okay. It's
yeah,
communal.
making the abuse feel regular because it's communal. I feel like,
Coldish.
yeah, I feel like,
And that come in so many different levels, man. I was talking to this lady, right? This is the craziest thing I ever heard, right? She was like, I'm glad I learned my son was doing drugs because I could teach him how to do it the right way. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, excuse my language. But
That was my grandma.
I thought she was gonna say something else. Like I thought she was gonna. She said I could teach him how to do it the right way. How you know when it's bad, who to buy it from, how to do it. That blew my mind.
but
I'm like, damn.
That was my
households
family.
are just different. Like
Yeah.
Like- like to her, that was the right thing to say. She felt like she was a great parent. Like how we just talked about, like you feel like somebody can't teach your child how you.
I mean,
teach
she's an
them.
addict. She know what she know. She gonna teach her child the best she know.
Basically,
I had a parent once that was doing all her kids' homework, and the child was functionally illiterate, and I teach 12th grade. So functionally illiterate, like can't read the word cow, like illiterate. And he was National Honor Society, and he made it to the highest heights because his mom was doing all his work all through high school, and she truly believed that she was doing him a favor. And all of us as teachers is like, this is abuse. This is abuse. This is abuse. But like it gets twisted.
Giving Munchausen by proxy.
What'd you say?
Yeah, but
Giving Munchausen by proxy.
to her, it's probably like, yo, I'm setting him up to not go through what I might have went through. Like,
No,
hey,
she has a disorder. She has a disorder. Munchausen by proxy. Yep.
no, that's man.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that. That's what I'm saying.
stuff gets
At-
And it goes back to the point that hurt people hurt
Hurt
people. She is
Thing
hurt
is
in some
unintentional.
way.
She thinks
She has
she's helping.
something undiagnosed, and she, in fact, is hurting her child by crippling him.
And in her mind, she thinks she helping them, but she's literally doing.
Yeah,
the
and her mind is not sound.
and that's why I think that, like, more than, like we was talking about, you know, the instance of the instance of is homeschooling the right thing or whatever like that. Some of those people like aren't fit to be the teachers in those situations. And so if we did a better job of vetting teachers as a community, so it's like I feel comfortable and you are trained and you are not just trained in like how to teach, but trained in emotional intelligence. They're trained in all of the things that it takes to be a teacher, because I feel like there's so many aspects. Like when you sign up to be a teacher, you sign up to teach a subject, right? You don't sign up to be a therapist. You don't sign up to have a high degree of emotional intelligence. You don't sign up to be a behavioral support, but that's what you end up being.
Yeah,
I mean, all that
that's
is
why I
kinda
asked
what
about
you
the
sign up
qualification, and that's why I asked about what's the qualifications to be a teacher, because it comes with more than just teaching out of a book, and also he hit on those earlier when he was talking about is what you say is undervalued. You know what I'm saying? Because like being a teacher, like I said, is a pivotal moment in everybody's life. Every single person that I know. You know what I'm
my
saying?
whole
So
conversation, my point was teachers. I'm not saying they're not, because some parents don't say life up that way. But my goal in my teaching is to get parents to set their life up a way to be able to be home with your kids, because it's necessary, it's needed, and no matter what facet you choose to do that in.
All right. Well, we about to wrap this joint up. We this. I feel like this was a good joint. This was more of an authentic joint. You feel what I'm saying? Than some of our other joints. But I think an important part of the winners culture, I feel like, gotta be learning how to agree to disagree, and also learning how to talk through things that we don't really talk through as a community because it's part of the culture. You feel what I'm saying? Like all of our real life experiences with coaches, with teachers, with abuse, with things like that are the things that really go on. What they talk about on the internet is something else. You feel what I'm saying? But you responding to it out of a place of reality, out of what really goes on. But we're not talking about what really goes on. We talking about what we seen on the internet. You feel what I'm saying? So these conversations, I feel like, have to be had in order to bring some things into the forefront where it's like, no, like, the reason why that was nutty was because of this. Or the reason why this could exist is because this doesn't exist. You feel what I'm saying? And I feel like we got closer to that today.
I just want to say, hey, make sure you listen and communicate to your child. Every bad action you might see them through, you might got to do some stuff internalizing, some stuff analyzing, and realize that they learned that from you, and learn how to better yourself so your kid don't pick up your same habits. Because however it manifests in them, you might think they took it to the next level, but they got it from you. I know some parents that was turned up that turned their kids really up. So I think it's just you gotta talk to them. That's everything. Communication is the key.
I got mad when I thought about. Well, there you had it. There you have it. Another episode of Home Field Advantage presented by The Winners Culture. Follow us on everything at The Winners Culture on Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. And until next time, shout out to Studio 524 Philly as well. Shout out to Twitter and Facebook. Twitter. Our name on Twitter is T Winners Culture because they didn't let us have the full name. They got a character count. That was nutty. But like, comment, follow, subscribe. Shout out to everybody involved. We appreciate you, Studio 524 Philly, as always, and we'll holler at you.
Good job, y'all. That was a good conversation.
What's the hopeless? Control the game like the coaches. Stay dropping gems with the winners, coaching. You know this. Never coasting. Always elevating, staying focused. When it's all said and done, we the winners, coach. Yeah. We winners, coach.